Good evening, this is Jack from theartofchart.net, and this is the daily update for the evening of Thursday, the 16th of September. Our disclaimer, which is for educational purposes only. We're here to share technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts and know how trading signals. Right. This morning, before the open, I was talking about the possibility that we might form an IHS, because we were at the week to pivot, and I was saying that obviously that was the main resistance level. We had the daily middle band at the same level. We've got the 50-hour moving average just above, and I was saying that we might see a retracement from the right shoulder and then a move back up to the neckline, and that's exactly what we saw. So how good is that pattern? It's excellent. It's really good. We've got a flat neckline. We've got basically a handle between the left shoulder and the right shoulder. This is a very high quality pattern. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to break up and make a new all-time high, but it makes it one, more likely that it's going to break up and try to make a new all-time high, and two, it means that it's a nice pattern, it's a very nice setup, and whichever way it turns, it's likely to deliver. So one, if we see on the upside, it's easier to tell. If we see a breaking conversion of the week to pivot, followed through by a close above the daily middle band tomorrow, then we have a breakup, and we're likely to see a new all-time high. We could still, technically, if we didn't get that far and we saw a rejection back down on Monday, we could still fail from that. But if we see a good conversion and we can actually close significantly above 4,500, chances are we're going to see the new all-time high. All right, if we have a hard fail, which I'd normally expect to see after a breakup, and we didn't see that today, but if we see a hard fail, then I would be looking for lower lows, and at that stage we'd be looking really at the obvious target being in the 43.50 area, although there is a possibility we just come back to retest the marginal lower low and then form a double bottom and go up. But this is a nice setup. It's formed almost perfectly so far. We're seeing a bit of a pullback at the moment. We could see a break-up overnight or in RTH tomorrow. I'd be leaning towards RTH tomorrow because we've got these same patterns on the daily charts, and it's not just on SPX. Let's have a look at NQ, where we have a very similar setup. We've got another high-quality IHS that's formed, two left and right shoulder pretty close to each other, nice flat neckline, also at the weekly pivot. This one, unlike the SPX one, has actually already broken up slightly. Although obviously it's some way from converting the weekly middle band. Weekly pivot. I'm mainly looking at the SPX ES version here, but I'm certainly keeping an eye on the NDX NQ. It's just that I tend to get better technical results out of SPX and ES, so that's the main one I'm watching. RTY. Is there an obvious pattern here? No. Have we had a breakup from a possible falling wedge here? Yes. That could be a bullish break, but I'm really waiting for SPX/ES to confirm. YM. We saw a break over the declining resistance here too. Nice looking potential double bottom here already. So watching that with interest. We do have some positive divergence here, and when we had the potential for some buy signals yesterday morning, and we have got those. So let's go and have a look through those now, just after we've done DAX and the STX. Both kicking around sideways, waiting for direction from the others, I think, between really the week to pivot and the monthly pivot. Slightly over the week to pivot on ESTX, but basically this is a sideways consolidation waiting for direction. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, a couple of things to mention. On the daily chart, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal, buy signal, not a sell signal, buy signal fix on SPX and on ES. And they're decent signals, and we could be finding a low here. We're obviously testing the daily middle band as resistance. We have not seen a break back over yet, but obviously it's Friday tomorrow. Nice bullish pattern setup. We could see a break up tomorrow. And if we do see that, and it's a decent break and it follows through, then we're going to see a new all-time high. And at that case, we could just retest that and fail, or we could go a bit higher into this trend line here, currently in about the 45.70 area. So we will see how that goes. All right, moving on to NDX. NDX, we don't have a buy signal here because, of course, NDX didn't really go down as much. We haven't had a solid break below the daily middle band here, but we have had a break. And we saw the close today was at 15.515. That was slightly back above the daily middle band at 15.448, but not convincingly so. Is that a convincing bullish break so far? Not yet, but it might well be. Like SPX, we've got a weak 60-minute RSI 14 buy signal fixed. Looking at the others, IWM, IWM, nothing really on the daily. We didn't have any positive divergence there. We've got daily middle band is still resistance, I think. That's at 222. We closed at 222. So basically we closed on the band. I closed a bit below it on SPX, marginally above it on NDX. Nothing convincing so far, but we might get that tomorrow. On IWM, on the 60-minute chart, we've got a full-size RSI 14 bicycle fixed. None of these bicycles have yet made target or got close to it. So we will see how it goes. Do we have a reversal pattern here like the others? No, not unless we go and form a right shoulder now, which we could, of course. But nothing like the others so far, because on Dow we also have another IHS forming, and really it's again not bad. This one's down sloping, but it's pretty high quality, and like the other two, it would get us almost back into the prior highs, which isn't the all-time high on this case, I don't think, or is it? No, it's this high here. So we will see how that goes. Right, on the daily chart, we've got an RSI 5 bicycle fixed here, and it's a decent one, and it's nowhere near the target. Could we go lower and make lower lows without killing off this bicycle? Yes. So this bicycle does not mean that we have to go up straight away. We've got a decision to make there, and that decision will likely be made tomorrow, possibly with the possibility that it gets reversed back down on Monday. We will see if, of course, it goes up. It's if it goes straight down, then on a Friday, then chances are it'll follow through in the early part of next week. So that's where we are. Have we done enough to the downside? Yeah, we've seen the full reversion to the mean move. I have to say the overall setup had me leaning very strongly towards a move down into the middle 4300, and we could still see that. But there is a possibility we're going to break up into the high retest directly from here, and so we will see how that goes. Okay, let's have a look at DX. DX, this is an interesting one because this could still be an inverted head and shoulders. I don't think it is. This looks an awful lot more like a rising wedge. But I've shown you plenty of setups in the past where we've got basically both in potential, and one of them plays out. This could potentially still play out as an inverted head and shoulders, but it looks more like a rising wedge, and if so, it's slightly overthrown in the rising wedge, and I'd be expecting it to break down. There's a fair amount to support that. USD. USD, we've broken down. We've not made the target yet, but could this be a larger inverted head and shoulders? Yes, and we're in the ideal place for the ideal right shoulder low. We could break up directly from here and start a big move. And that is the scenario if DX goes straight down from here, and it well might. If we were to look at this on the daily chart, hang on, I'm just going to have a quick look at that on the daily chart here. This would be the inverted head and shoulders here, and it's nice. It's very nice. That could really happen. And there's a fair amount of support for that on the others. GBP USD, not so much. We've just been consolidating sideways and going down a bit while dollar's been rallying. USD JPY, again, nothing particularly definitive here. USD CAD, nothing definitive here either. But I have to say, Australian dollar and NZ, that has set up this, well, that's a very nice bull flag wedge. And this, on NZ, this actually broke down slightly and formed a perfect bull flag channel. Those are very clear bull flags. The euro setup looks very nice to turn back up. I think dollar may be about to make this high here and head down pretty hard. Because that's the message of that IHS on the euro chart. We will see. All right, let's have a look at ZB. ZB, broken up here. Still wondering about a retest this high. We had a sell signal here, and we've seen a retracement. We'll see how it goes from here. So CL, nice move up, leaning towards this being a flag. You see I've drawn the line there, and it's a pretty nice one. We held support here and set up a pretty nice support trend line today, and this is a nice setup to go higher, and I'm expecting this to go higher. Are we going to make it all the way to the retest at 76.98? I think we might. I think we might well. Let's have a quick look at that and see why I think so. Because of that. That was a very nice bull flag, and it's broken up, and the target is at 76.98. Now we're over the daily upper band. It doesn't have to get there all in one go. We could see a retracement on the way, and we might well see a retracement on the way. But I'm really liking the retest of this high here, and I'm thinking when we get there, chances are that'll be the second high it holds up, because on the bigger picture, I think we're forming a right shoulder and inverted head shoulders, though I could, of course, be mistaken about that. Right, let's have a look at natural gas. Natural gas, we had a sell signal now saying that these had a very good track record of making target, and it made the possible near miss target, and then rejected all back almost to the high, and then rejected down again. What's this look like? It looks like a bull flag. It looks an awful lot like a bull flag. What kind of flag is it? It's a flag. Megaphone. Possibly a channel, but it looks like more like a megaphone. But either way, it looks as though it's going to be breaking up and at least retesting this high next. GC. GC, now this is a very nice head and shoulders. I've been watching it form for the last few days. It's pretty sweet. And it's broken down. It's got a target in the 1722 area. So the question is dollar going to turn back down here? Because if it does, then we're probably going to not make it to this target. If it goes higher, then we may go to this target, and if this does turn out to be an IHS on DX, we go back and do a full retest of this low. I'm not really expecting to see that. I'm quite liking DX for the turn here, but we will see. SI. SI is pretty close to retest this low, and honestly, that's kind of the obvious next target. So I'm thinking we may well be seeing that in the near future. We will see. HG. 60-minute buy signal is fixed. I'm liking the upside here. Hasn't quite made it to the obvious trendline support, which is down here. Might make that next. Liking the upside for the next move. Obviously, the currencies I've already talked about. KC. KC, nice looking double bottom here. Hasn't broken up yet, but it looks like it's a pretty good chance that it's about to. SB. SB, we have broken back above the month's pivot, back testing that as support. As long as that holds, I'm not seeing any reason to think that we're not going to go back and retest this high. CC, nice looking flag, I think. Looks more like that than anything else. If so, this is going to possibly make another low down here. 2550 to 75 area, and then probably break up into a retest of the high. ZW, we've got a break up from the flag wedge here. This looks like a bullish underthrow, and this looks like a break up. I'm thinking this is probably on the way back to retest this high here in the 785 area. Corn has broken up. We're going to have to switch over to safe charts and do that. Right, corner's broken up, and unfortunately I drew it on from my latest version, but I've got an IHS right neckline here, and I think maybe we'll be forming the right shoulder. If so, on a sustained break over the 539 area afterwards, that should take us back pretty close to previous highs, which should then be the obvious next target. All right, let's have a quick look at cotton. Cotton, testing the monthly pivot. If it gets back below it, this can go lower. I have to say the pattern setup is mushy here. It's hard to say where this is going next. If it holds the monthly pivot, then at least that gives us an upward bias. Soy, we've got a nice looking double bottom here. Hasn't broken up yet, but if we see a sustained break up over this resistance here in about the 1308 area, that can get us back into the 1340 area, where I've got a possible larger double bottom resistance or IHS neckline. Lumber looks like it's trying to break up here. This could be the completion of the right shoulder. It's got the right sort of area. I was wondering if we might find support in the monthly pivot area, and it's almost reached that. What I'm expecting to see soon, not necessarily from here, but soon, is a retest of the 700 area, a break up through it to break up this IHS, and then LB will have a decision to make as to whether this rally will head up into the 940 area. That would be an appropriate size rally for the kind of move this has made downwards, so I think that might well actually deliver. Live cattle, buy signal, impulse up, flag. We're going to at least go back and retest this high in the near future, I think, and likely go higher. Lean hogs, saw a bit of movement today, and I think I thought this had fixed. I think it has fixed. Sorry, I think my my later chart is fixed. Aha! I know what the problem is here. That's this morning's chart. Hang on, let's have a look at this evening's. Sorry, I'm normally doing this sort of chart substitution in the morning. All right, let's have a quick look at those again. I didn't save that. I didn't save those. Sorry. That's yeah. I wasn't expecting to do this tonight because initially, when I saved the chance to post them earlier, I wasn't expecting to do the daily update. Okay, right. Do we have any questions tonight? I think that's all relatively clear. We've got an inflection point coming tomorrow. It could be that we're going to fail directly from here, in which case I'll start paying closer attention to the NQ chart and the ES chart for the next few days, because this didn't reach the obvious area to fail from, but NQ did. So if we see an NQ fail here, then NQ looks as though it's going to be driving the bus. But at the moment, I'm not really seeing any reason for that. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest tomorrow. And then of the neckline, and then we will see what happens. Okay, in that case, no questions. I think that's a wrap, and I'll have this posted as soon as possible, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.